The decane has a freezing point of minus 30 and it has a boiling point of 174. Means between this temperature, what will the state of a substance? It will be liquid. Okay. A sample of a decane is placed in an open beaker in an oven which is 120 at that for 24 hours. So we have a liquid is there, like because we know it is kept at 120. So at 120 degrees, what will the state of a substance? The substance will be liquid. So what happened to a sample of a decane? Because if the temperature was 174, then it will start to boil. But the temperature is not 174, so it won't boil. So it won't boil. The substance is not in a solid state, so it won't melt. And it's not at a melting temperature. So that's also wrong. Sublimes here, sublimation happen when the substance directly converted, but they did not specify, they mentioned the freezing point and the boiling point. So it means the substance does not sublimate because it can be solid, the substance can be solid below minus 30 and the substance can be liquid from minus 30 to 174 and it will be a gas after 174. So it cannot sublimate. So what we are left with, it will evaporate. So what will happen at 120 degrees, the substance will evaporate. Okay. So B should be the right answer for this. Next. Which row? No, if you have a doubt, I will discuss. Which row of a table about the change in state is correct? First, remember one thing, when we have a solid, if a solid is turning into a liquid or a liquid is turning into a gas, the heat energy is taken in. And opposite will happen when a gas turns into a liquid or a liquid turns to a solid, the energy will be given out. So we check the options. A solid is turning into a liquid, heat energy is given out. That is wrong. A gas is turning into a liquid, heat energy is taken in. A gas turning into a liquid, heat energy must be given. A solid is turning into a gas, heat energy taken in. And when a solid turns into a gas, what we call that as a sublimation. So C should be the right answer for this. This was the first pop quiz I shared. It has only one atom. Hydrogen is diatomic, like existing as. Question 3, any doubts? Question 3. Yes, sir. Question 3. Yes, Hamad, Iman, Hossein, Dia. Question 4, any doubt? Any doubt? Question 4? Question 5? No doubt. Question 6? Yes, sir. 3 and 4. What? 3 and 4 doubt? You mean the option, okay. The question, the diagram shows the change of the state between a solid, liquid, and a gas. In which change of the state is the energy being given out? Given out, sir, 3 and 4. So, if a solid is turning into a liquid, the heat energy is taken in. A liquid is turning into a gas, heat energy is taken in. A gas turning into a liquid, heat energy is given out. Liquid turning into a solid, heat energy is also given out. So 3 and 4, the heat energy is given out. In question 5, the diagram shows the arrangement of the particles in 3 different physical states of a substance X. Which statement about the physical states of a substance X is correct? What is this state? Solid. Liquid. Solid. What is this state? A gas. And what is this state? A solid. First option, a particle in state 1 vibrate. No, it's a liquid. So liquid, the particle can move past each other. State 1 changes to state 2 by diffusion. This is not a diffusion, it is what?
This is evaporation.
Evaporation, or you can also say boiling. State 2 changes directly to state 3 by condensation. State 2 changes to state 3. What we call when a gas is turning into a solid, we call sublimation. The substance in stage 3 has a fixed volume. You can see it's a solid, and solids have fixed volume. Solids have definite volume or the fixed volume. Question 7, any doubt? Pure water boils at 100. What happened to the water particles when the water boil? So when the water boil, it means the liquid is turning into a gas. When a liquid turns into a gas, what happened to the particles? So what happened to the particle? They gain energy, they take energy, and they will move away from each other. Question 8, any doubt?
Yes.
Question 8, doubt? The gas is placed in a sealed container. The gas has a pressure 1 atmosphere and a temperature 50. It is heated to 100. Which row describe the cause of the pressure of the gas and effect of increasing a temperature? What causes, like why gases exert pressure? The gas particles are hitting the wall or colliding with the wall. So collision between the gas particles and the container, like the gas. So means it can be C or it can be D. Then what is the effect of increasing a temperature? If the temperature increases, two things will happen. There will be more collision, frequent collision, as well as as the temperature increase, the particle move at a high speed. So the speed of the particles will increase as the temperature increases, and the collision between the particles will also, particle and the container will also increase. So the gas molecules collide with the wall of the container, cause a pressure on the container. And what happened to the average speed of these particles? Like because the temperature increased, so the average speed of the particle should also increase. Next. Question, this is topic 1.2. Any doubt in? Any doubt in this? Yes, Hamad, Anas. This is doubt. Okay, yeah, sure. Look, universal indicator can be used to identify two types of gases, acidic gases and alkaline gases. Okay, gases can also be acidic, alkaline, or it can be neutral. The question is, which gas turned the damn universal indicator paper red? So if it is red, it means it should be acidic gas. The gas must be acidic. And how we know a gas is acidic? A gas is acidic when there is a non-metal present. Okay, except ammonia, even though they are non-metals, the oxides. So ammonia is the only alkaline gas. So the nature of ammonia is alkaline. If it's an alkaline gas, it won't turn red, it will turn blue or a violet. So ammonia cannot be an answer at all. Ammonia is a lighter gases diffuse faster. But yeah, but the thing is, the concept is there about the diffusion. This is related to diffusion plus the nature of the gas. Diffusion plus the nature of the gas. So the nature of the gas is also important because they mention here the paper turned red. If a universal indicator, grade 7, they teach you the colors of the indicator, universal indicator. 7 and 8, they give you the explanation about the color of indicator. Then if it is acidic, it will turn red, alkaline, it will turn violet, blue or purple. So which gas turned, then this cannot be an answer. We are left with these three gases. Now what we have to do, we have to find the mass of each, and the one which is having a lower mass will diffuse faster. So chlorine is 35.5, so 35.5 times 2, so this will be 71. HCl, hydrogen is 1 and chlorine is 35.5, so this will be 36.5. And sulfur dioxide, sulfur is 32 plus oxygen is 16 times 2, so this is 64. So which is the lightest in these three? So C, hydrogen chloride. Hydrogen is 1 and chlorine is 35.5. So this will be 36. So question 2, any doubt? Question 3? Question? Question 3? In question 3, they mention a particle moving very slowly from an area of a high concentration to low concentration. So the movement from high concentration to low concentration is a diffusion, but it is moving very slowly. So which, yeah, so diffusion happen both liquids and gases, but it is slow. So it means the substance is diffusing through a liquid. Regarding the marking of this, I will mark and share on Thursday. Question 4, any doubt? English.
Yes, sir. There is a doubt, sir.
If you have a
Thank you, sir.
look, we have rate of diffusion of the two gases, methane is CH4 and ethene is C2H4, is measured using an apparatus, as you can see. The gas that diffuses faster. Which gas diffuses faster? The lighter one. If you see the mass of CH4, carbon is 12 and hydrogen is 1 multiplied by 4. So that is 16. Where what is the mass? This is 12 multiplied by 2 plus hydrogen is 1 into 4. So that will make 28. So which is lighter? Methane is lighter. So it means the methane will diffuse faster. And the explanation for reason, methane diffuse faster. And what is the reason for that? Because molecules are lighter, the lighter gases diffuse much faster than heavy gases.
My answer is C, but I mistaken when I was doing my routine.
Question 5, any doubt? Question 6?
Yes, sir. This was
Which? No, which two gases will diffuse at the same rate? What you have to do, carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide and nitrogen,
Yes.
chlorine and fluorine, and nitrogen and oxygen. How to know that they diffuse at the same rate? You have to find the mass of these gases. So what is the mass of a carbon monoxide? Carbon is 12 and oxygen is 16. So the total mass is 28. What is the mass of a carbon dioxide? Carbon is 12 and oxygen is 16 times 2. So the total mass is 44. Because they have different masses, so they cannot diffuse at the same rate. Because for a diffusion to happen at the same rate, the two gases must have the same mass. Next is carbon monoxide and nitrogen. Carbon monoxide is CO and nitrogen is N2. So what is the mass of a carbon monoxide? We already calculated, it's 28, and nitrogen is 14 multiplied by 2, which is also 28. So the mass of a nitrogen and the mass of the carbon monoxide both have the same mass, 28. That's why diffuse at the same rate. Question 7, any doubt? Question 8.
Yes.
Question 8, Mohsen. Which statement explained why ammonia gas diffuses faster than HCl? So what is the mass of ammonia? Nitrogen is 14 plus hydrogen is 1 multiplied by 3. So that is 17. For HCl, hydrogen is 1 and chlorine is 35.5. So total is 36.5. So this is, yeah, we did about the mass. So this is 36.5 and this is 17. So which gas diffuse at a higher rate? The one which is lighter will diffuse at a higher rate. So ammonia, they already mentioned that it diffuses at a higher rate. But what is the reason for that? Because ammonia is having a smaller molecular mass, a relative molecular mass as compared to that of hydrogen chloride. So mass is a characteristic which decide the rate of diffusion as well as the temperature. But we assume that these gases are at same temperature. So the mass is the factor which decide the rate of diffusion. Question 9. Any doubt?
Cut out. क्या होगा?
No, sir.
Look, we have ammonium chloride is there, which is formed. Look, this is a hydrogen chloride. What is the mass of hydrogen chloride? That is 36.5. And what is the mass of ammonia? That is NH3, so 17 is there. We know ammonia will diffuse faster, the rate of diffusion of, so it will cover greater distance and HCl will cover smaller distance. And this is a point where the two gases will combine. Now, the experiment is repeated using the hydrogen bromide in place of hydrogen chloride. So if you compare hydrogen bromide, HBr, so hydrogen is 1 and bromine is 80. So what is the total mass? 81. So if which will move faster, HCl or HBr? HCl will move faster, HBr will move slower because it has a greater mass. So means compared to HCl, HBr will cover a smaller distance. And ammonia, because it's at a lower and a greater difference is there, so it will cover a greater distance. That's why which position they will combine at position A. So we have to compare the rate of diffusion between HCl and HBr. Question 10, any doubt?
No, sir.
The hydrogen does not have any effect on the indicator. Because so this hydrogen does not have any effect on the indicator, so it cannot be D. Yeah, because hydrogen cannot affect the universal indicator. It's so you're left with these three options only. So in that case, which is the lightest? Ammonia is the lightest. So A will be the answer. Which gas changes the color? Here they only ask the changes the color. They did not specify whether it is a red or a blue. The previous question they specified that the which one changes the color red. When they say red, it means we have to look for acidic gas. When they say a color change, it means the gas can be acidic, it can be alkaline. Why not hydrogen? Because hydrogen does not have any effect on the indicator. Hydrogen is neither acidic nor alkaline.
Cheating. Pure cheating. 100% cheating. Question ही कई वर्ष दे रहे हैं. Question number 12. No, easy.
Question 11, any doubt? Just the same question repeated.
Yes.
Question 12.
Big dog, sir. Very good.
In which set of operators does the litmus turn red first? If a litmus turn red, which gas we are looking for? Acidic.
Then how we know like we are
Because it turned red, acidic gas should be there. And all of them are acidic actually, like carbon dioxide, hydrogen chloride, nitrogen. Then we have to check the rate of the diffusion. We will work out the mass. Carbon 44, HCl is 36.5. This is 46 and this is 64. So which one? Which one? Hydrogen chloride. Because hydrogen chloride is the lightest, so as a result, it will diffuse much faster and cause a color change at a higher, means in a short time as compared to that of any other gas. Other will also cause. So what will the order of causing a color change? First, it will be HCl. Next, it will be carbon dioxide. Next, nitrogen dioxide. The last one will be sulfur dioxide. So this was pop quiz. This is the last question here. So this was a pop quiz related to the topic 1.1 and 1.2.
The correct way.
Wait. Yeah, I'll repeat this question. See, in this one, we have a liquid which has a freezing point. We have a decane which has a freezing point of minus 30. So freezing point at this point, it will freeze. And we have a boiling point of 174. So 174 degrees, it will boil. Now, we have a container and that is at a temperature of 120. So what will the state at 120? The substance at 120, because 120 is between the freezing point and the boiling point. So the substance should be liquid. So we have a decane will be liquid at 120. Now, what happened to a sample? Because the temperature is not at a boiling temperature 174, so it won't boil. And it's not a solid, so it won't melt. And sublimation happen when a solid turn into a gas or gas to solid. So it's not a solid or a gas. That's why sublimation won't occur. So what we are left with, the evaporation, only the most energetic molecules at the surface will escape.
So,
Yes,
related to fusion,
yes.
like we talked about the acid and alkaline. So, what about hydrogen chloride? How would we identify that?
Hydrogen chloride, because hydrogen chloride is acidic. Why? Because it has a tendency to give proton, H plus ion. When any substance donate H plus ion, we call that as acidic. So you will learn about the nature of the gases, but that is the topic 7.